From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
And thank you for joining us for Local 4 Live. I'm Nick Monticelli. A lot of conversations on tap for the next 2 hours. Local 4's crime and safety expert Darnell Blackburn is going to be here to talk about a story where a 3-year-old boy helped save his mom's life with just a FaceTime call. And then, should you start your holiday shopping right now? Some retailers are warning there may be shortages for Christmas. An expert is going to join us live to tell us why and what you need to know before the busy shopping season gets going. And finally, we are playing it forward. See what we did there? With our next Go Forward event, we're going to be talking with Priya Mann, who is helping collect music instruments for kids in need. 8:01 here on Wednesday morning. Let's get to your headlines. A car slams into a home on Detroit's west side overnight, and look at all the damage there. Police say the male driver lost control and hit the house on the corner of Roselaw and Curtis near Bagley Elementary. People were inside the home at the time, but nobody was hurt, thank goodness. The driver was taken to a hospital for his injuries. Also, a Detroit mom is heading to court after a school stabbing incident involving her 13-year-old daughter. Prosecutors say LaCara Parks gave her daughter a pocket knife at Gompers Elementary Middle School, and then her daughter allegedly stabbed another 13-year-old girl. The daughter is facing assault and possessing a weapon in a school zone charges and is under strict rules not to see the victim or other students from the school. Her mother is facing misdemeanor charges and will be formally charged today. Michigan State Police are facing troubling allegations from a 25-year veteran of the agency. According to a federal lawsuit, Sarah Krebs, the ex-chief of DEI, claims years of retaliation, discrimination, and harassment from MSP and its leader, Colonel James Grady. She claims the agency ignored qualifications and prioritized DIE initiatives during hiring. She also accuses a male lieutenant of harassment. Local 4 reached out to MSP and Colonel Grady, but have not heard back just yet. Well, a jury has decided that former Detroit Red Wings Zamboni driver Al Sabatka does not get to keep his job. Sabatka was fired back in 2022. Olympia Entertainment says it was because Sabatka was caught urinating where they dumped the ice out from the Zamboni. But Sabatka filed a lawsuit saying he was let go after 50 seasons because, as he says, the higher-ups at the company thought he was too old and used the peeing incident as an excuse to get rid of him. According to reports, a jury decided against Sabatka, voting 5-2. Now, in civil cases, juries do not have to be unanimous. Well, we are learning more about a third law firm filing a civil suit against former Detroit Medical Center nurse Wilfredo Figueroa Barrios. Figueroa Law and Flood Law have filed similar suits last week, and now this new lawsuit is accusing Barrios of drugging and assaulting a patient in July. Attorneys are urging more survivors to come forward. They believe Sinai Grace Hospital should have noticed warning signs before hiring Barrios, including a prior assault arrest and complaints from his previous job. The hospital responded with a statement saying they prioritized patient safety and did a background check before hiring him. You can read that full statement on our website to clickondetroit.com. Well, happening tonight, Mary Sheffield and Solomon Kinlock Jr. will go head-to-head in a mayoral debate. We're going to have a full recap of that debate tomorrow morning here on Local 4 Live, as well as some conversations about how things went, who won, who didn't, and what we're going to see over the next couple of weeks and months before that November 4th general election. Well, I know it's not Halloween yet, but if you visited Costco, Home Depot, Lowe's, just about any other big box store, you've seen the Christmas decor is already out. But right now, you're looking at live at the Rooftop Landing Reindeer Farm in Clare, Michigan. There's 71 days until Christmas. Director Nick has already bought his present for me. No? Okay. We're just a few weeks away from that big Christmas tree going up in Campus Marshes. And if you're planning on decorating your home for the holidays, you might want to start early. One of the nation's largest artificial Christmas tree importers is warning there may be limited inventory because of tariffs. The National Tree Company says it raised prices by 10% this year and brought in 25% less inventory. We're talking, of course, fake Christmas trees and all kinds of decor. So we wanted to know if you should expect to see these type of shortages throughout Christmas, whether it be gifts or decor. Joining me right now is Dr. Jeff Reitmer with the Department of Global Supply Chain Management over at Wayne State University. Jeff, always good to have you here. Thank you so much.
Not a problem.
First of all, I'm sure you're not surprised at all by this company saying that prices are up, we're ordering less, prepare for a difference in the holiday shopping season.
Yeah, not surprised at all, because the tariffs really hit during the buying season. It's much like fashion. You're buying the winter stuff in the middle of summer, so the lead time's long. Same thing with Christmas, Halloween stuff. So the shortages probably will be there. Prices will probably be a lot higher.
So when we go to the Home Depot and the Lowe's and all the other stores that we buy these trees at, are we going to see less on the shelves or higher prices or both?
Both. You may not see the selection, and the prices probably will be up based upon the amount of inventory they brought in. About 70 to 80% of all that stuff is imported.
Right, because as you mentioned, they started buying their stuff probably back in June, July? All right. So that's decor we're talking about. What about just the overall holiday shopping that we're doing for, presents and gifts for everybody in our families and our loved ones? How do we plan out? Because I'm assuming tariffs will have an effect there too.
It will. It's kind of like when we had the pandemic and stuff started slowing down coming out of China, toys and all of that stuff, and they told you to buy early.
Right.
Same type of thing. If you see it, you probably want to buy it now.
Buy it now, right. I had an interesting conversation with another professor who was talking about how, we always see that high demand for that one hot toy or whatever it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a Labubu or whatever it is this year. What happens on an item like that that's already in high demand?
It becomes more of one of those self-perpetuating things, like the paper products during the pandemic. Demand shoots up. And during the pandemic and paper products, some of that stuff went up by 500%.
Really?
So you see all of this demand and you don't have the supply. So that's when you have to go to eBay and try to find one for $200 over asking price.
Like getting an Eras Tour ticket.
Yeah, essentially.
Right. So if I'm a consumer, if I'm just Joe or Sally Smith at home trying to figure out not only how do I plan, how do I budget for the holiday season, is there an answer?
You have to start looking at it now. You can't wait till like Black Friday, because if you do that, you probably won't find what you want. So start looking at it now, start understanding what you're going to buy, and then start budgeting for those items.
I remember earlier on when some of these tariffs were announced that you and I had a lengthy conversation, mainly around the auto industry, which obviously has been hit. In fact, I think I saw yesterday GM said a $1.6 billion loss based on down demand and tariff increases. I don't think many people thought originally that it would spill over into their everyday lives, but it's affecting almost everything now, isn't it?
It is, and we import so much because we don't manufacture it here. But like the tariffs on the stuff you make furniture out of, we had some furniture made, and the delay was they couldn't get the padding in. It all came from overseas. And there wasn't a manufacturer here in the States. So it increased the lead time on that.
We also had a story yesterday, President Trump talking about tariff issues with China, Beijing, just kitchen cabinets now. They were talking about 25, 50, even 100% tariffs. I understand a lot of that from his perspective. He's using it as a negotiation tool, as a tactic. But in some instances, things actually went into effect and have cost us a lot of money. Can you kind of go through that trickle-down effect of how that tariff does eventually get to the consumer?
The importer pays that tariff. And then whoever buys that from that importer is going to pay some of that too. And it will eventually trickle down to the consumer. They don't have a choice. Now, they've been not passing the full amount on, but you can see as it goes along, this stuff the prices will start to increase.
Well, and that was my next question for you, because I know a lot of retailers have been trying to kind of soften the blow a little bit by absorbing some of those additional costs. They can't do that forever. So looking, into your crystal ball here, do you anticipate first quarter, second quarter next year when we start to see even more increases?
It depends.
Okay.
If he follows through and the tariffs go into effect, then yes, second quarters, you're going to start to see more price increases. Automobile industry is a great example. Ford, GM, Stellantis has all basically come out and said, suppliers, we're not paying you anymore because you have to eat these tariffs. So that just is going to perpetuate that. You're going to see suppliers get in cash flow problems really quick.
Yeah. And I also understand, of course, a lot of the conversation was about manufacturing domestically. And some of the big three have said that we're going to start doing that. But that also comes with an additional cost, doesn't it?
Yes. And you guys were doing the PSA on skilled trades.
Right.
That's one of the big issues is I'm going to build these places. How can I get people to staff them? Right. Because there is a shortage of skilled trades. Right. There is not a shortage of skilled trades in Mexico and Canada, which makes it attractive.
Gotcha. Okay, Jeff, thank you so much. I always appreciate your time.
Not a problem.
Good to see you again.
Nice to see you.
We're always going to have you back, too. He's an expert. Okay, today we are playing it forward. A live look right now at our Go For It event happening in Detroit, where we are looking to you to donate your used musical instruments to kids in need. You can see some of our staff members there collecting. We've got a trombone, a flute, a clarinet, looks like a guitar over there. Lots of things. We can't accept pianos, though. The trucks just aren't big enough. I'm sure some parents wouldn't mind dropping off a drum set or two. Priya Mann is going to join us after the break with how you can get involved and why this is such a worthy cause. I'll be right back. That sound means that we are going forward. A live look over downtown Detroit. Today, we want you to help us go for it and play it forward. We are teaming up with the Detroit Symphony Orchestra and Detroit Harmony, collecting new and like new musical instruments, wind, brass, and string instruments. Just no pianos, please. Priya Mann cannot lift a piano all by herself. Today's event is all about giving kids the chance to enjoy that gift of music. Priya is live at the event. I mean, I would love to see you, try to tickle the ivories a little bit.
It's so funny you mentioned just how heavy the instruments are. Every time I'm picking up one of the donations out of someone's car, I'm like, wow, this is a lot heavier than I remember. And I lift. These kids who are playing all these instruments, boy, kudos to you. We've got some amazing volunteers here at Detroit Harmony, and we are collecting new and gently used instruments for Detroit kids. And our Demond Fernandez actually spoke to some of the kids who benefit from the amazing programs here.
From a third-floor studio on Cass Tech's campus in Detroit, you can hear the pleasant sound of music spilling into the halls. And inside that studio, students are focused and practicing skills on the harp.
Music means a lot to me.
Among them, Amaya Harper. The high school senior comes from a family of musicians, but she's the only artist in her family to try tackling this rare instrument.
It starts my day. I go through my entire day thinking about music.
An organization called Detroit Harmony is allowing Amaya to have access to the harp at home. Detroit Harmony's citywide collaboration with the DSO, local schools, art nonprofits, and other community groups is mission-focused on making music education available to every child in the city who wants it. The program gives kids access to instruments, instruction, and resources.
This program, is it a hidden gem?
It is a hidden gem, and we want it to not be hidden anymore. We want it to be exposed.
Lydia Cleaver is director of the harp program at Cass Tech, and she's an instructional partner with Detroit Harmony. Cleaver's seen how the gift of gently used and refurbished musical instruments are making a difference in local youth through Detroit Harmony's program.
To have it at home where they can practice and be motivated to see the fruits of their practicing more readily is very important.
And that's music to anyone's ears. All it takes is someone who has an old instrument lying around to pack it up and play it forward.
Let them go, and let them provide something special and wonderful for a student who is waiting for it. Some of these students are waiting for their forever instrument.
And you know, back out here live, we have just been swaying to the music because we've been hearing jazz this morning.
Yes,
what's it like for you seeing all these folks dropping off donations?
It's amazing. Our shelves are empty right now. We have passed out over almost 2,300 instruments.
Wow,
yes,
incredible.
And so we need instruments for students in Detroit. I have a waiting list of kids that are waiting for their very own instrument.
You know, and on that note, we just saw Damon's piece, and he was talking to kids who really benefit from the programs here. You have a wait list. I mean, this is something a lot of parents and guardians want these young kids to be a part of.
Yes, and coming from our music repair partners, renting instruments is skyrocketing right now. So it's hard to rent an instrument or purchase an instrument.
Right.
So we're seeing a lot more students reach out to us that need an instrument.
So if folks want to come out today, I mean, just how easy is this?
You know what? Contact me if you need an instrument, or if you want to drop off an instrument, please come on by. We're here till 6 p.m.
That's right. And we love these cars coming by and dropping off donations. I mean, just look at some of these donated items here. These ladies are excited too. How great is this?
Yes! Join the party!
And we are here right on Cass Avenue by MLK in Midtown. I know you're excited. We got folks coming up. So again, if you'd like to donate, we are here till 6 p.m.
Yes!
Let's go help some Detroit kids. Nick, maybe I'll see you out here. Maybe you'll rock to some smooth jazz.
That's definitely a good point. Priya, I do have to mention, though, I think I may see a clarinet on the table behind you, which I believe you used to play.
I played it for 2 years and it didn't stick. I couldn't.
Oh,
Where's the
clarinet! Oh, I will
too.
get.
Listen, I still have nightmare. You know what? I don't deserve it. Detroit kids deserve.
Right here.
I can't. You know what? It was the read that got me the most. It was the worst. All right, guys, we're going to send it back to you. Nick, thanks a lot, man. It really brought back some memories for me.
I promise you, Priya, if you ask or if I have to on your behalf, I will. They probably have a brand new read inside that place. They can get that clarinet up and running for you by the next time your live shot happens in about 45 minutes.
You know what? I can't hear. I don't know what happened. Gotta go. Bye, guys.
Yeah, have to call Priya about this here in a moment. 8:18 here on your Wednesday. While we wait for ghosts and goblins this Halloween, Easter Market is already preparing for their holiday season. Next, the Shop Local extravaganza that is coming back to the city, plus Ashley's full forecast when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. A live look over at Easter Market right now. Many may still be waiting on Halloween, which is about 2 weeks away, but we are already getting in the other holiday spirit. The All Things Detroit, the holiday experience, is coming back to Easter Market on November 9th. That holiday shopping extravaganza is going to bring together more than 200 local makers, artists, and food spots to begin Detroit's Shop Local holiday season. It's going to start at noon, but if you have an early access ticket, you can get in at 10 a.m. All right, all that said, a live look over downtown Detroit right now. A little chilly and some cloud cover in the air. Ashley has the rest of your week forecast.
Now, forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
We'll be drying things out as the day rolls on, but we will be on a cooler note, which is a big change from where we've started off October. You can see the first half of the month coming in mainly above average. 10 days, in fact, recorded above average. That includes 70s and 80s. 2 of the days right where we should be and only 2 below average. So I would say today and tomorrow will be very seasonal where we should be for mid-October. Forecasting low to mid 60s for that afternoon high. And so we will have more clouds than sun for at least the first part of the afternoon until this evening when we start to clear things out. So if you're heading out to the Red Wings game, you don't need to have any kind of rain gear. It's going to be mostly clear, which once we get past sunset means tumbling temperatures. So prepare for 50-degree temperatures as you're walking to your car as you leave the arena for tonight. But the dinner hour, likely low 60s. Puck drops at 7 o'clock. And so just a really nice, pleasant evening to be in downtown Detroit, taking on some hockey in the D. Now, low temperatures tonight will be much cooler compared to what we woke up to this morning. That's because of the clear skies. So forecasting 30s the farther inland you go. That means the farther west and north away from the lakeshore will be falling into the mid to upper 30s, which could lead to some patchy frost formation. So just warning you that you could see some frost in some of our suburbs. But fall foliage, let's get to that, because the cooler nights that we've encountered over the last several days have allowed for some pop in color. And so the current report that came out yesterday put us past peak in the western half of the UP and right at peak in the other portions of the Upper Peninsula. As far as lower Michigan, we're looking at moderate to a couple patches of high color, but a week from now is when we will see peak color in the northern half of the Upper Peninsula. So if you have a place up north, maybe in the next week, you should go up and take in that color. Otherwise, we'll have moderate to high color across southeastern Michigan. How does that stack up with the average? Well, along southeastern Michigan, we usually hit our peak color mid to late October. So we're really on time when it comes to that color change. It's just not quite as vibrant as we've had in years past, been a rather dull fall, but we're starting to see some of the color change. So clouds and radar forecast, because we do have more rain in the forecast, but not until we get to probably Friday night. Can't rule out a passing shower, though. It's pretty isolated. Some scattered rain possible Saturday, but the bulk of the rain looks to arrive on Sunday. Now, this model pulling it in the morning and keeping us in that pattern through the day, even into Sunday evening. We're still several days out, so we have to fine tune that part of the forecast. But nonetheless, I do believe the second half of the weekend at this point looks to be a little more active than what we have on tap for your Saturday. So if you are heading out to the Big House Saturday for that noon kickoff against Washington, well, you can plan for a chance for showers by game's end, but I think overall partly to mostly cloudy, and we will be rising from the 60s into the 70s. Now, those rain chances will be a little more prominent for your Sunday, but scattered variety throughout the day. So as we take a closer look at this 7-day forecast, warmest day of the week, Saturday, high of 75, but the rain throughout the day Sunday cools us back off into seasonal 60s. We'll start off below average on Monday as the Lions will be in town, 59 for the high, and then back in the 60s by Tuesday of next week.
All right, Ashley, thank you so much. Families are getting ready for Halloween, and that means trick or treating. But next, an important safety conversation about what may be lurking in those trick-or-treat bags. I have never purchased anything off Temu. I'm just afraid. Good morning, everybody. Time now for a Local 4 News update. I'm Nick Monticelli. Detroit police trying to figure out what happened after a car slams into a home. This is the scene on the corner of Roselawn and Curtis near Bagley Elementary. The homeowners were inside when the male driver lost control and hit the house. The driver is currently at the hospital. Nobody inside, though, was hurt. Join us over on Local 4 Plus right now. More local news and weather. Crime and safety expert Donna Blackburn is joining me to have a conversation about a major concern that could be in your kid's Halloween trick-or-treat bag. And the doctor is in. An interesting story about the benefits of bringing somebody with you to your doctor's appointments. And plus, the Brides Project is a group supporting families during breast cancer treatment. They have come up with a new way to fund their work selling old wedding dresses, how you can help them. And Ashley has a look at your forecast in just a few minutes. Keep it right here on Local 4 and Local 4 Plus.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Welcome back to Local 4 Live, everybody. I'm Nick Monticelli. Let's take a look at some of the stories we're following today. In Oakland County, the sheriff's office there is honoring a very special boy who knew exactly what to do when his mom had a seizure. And what he did saved her life. Jay Scott Smith has that story.
Say hello to 3-year-old Cody Woods. He's a little ball of energy who loves his new helicopter, clearly enjoys cake, and did something really cool.
I saved my mom's life.
That's right. Cody saved his mom, Chantel's, life last week at their home in Pontiac.
I just got finished cooking and I felt a little dizzy. So I sat on the couch and I laid back for about 10 minutes. And next thing you know, I can feel my epilepsy coming on.
She passed out shortly thereafter, and Cody wandered downstairs to see her on the couch. Realizing something was wrong, he sprang into action and used his mother's cell phone to call his older sister. While suffering from the seizure, Chantel could hear everything that was happening.
He grabbed my phone, took my glasses off, opened my phone. He tried to call 911, but I guess they couldn't understand, so he hung up. And he called Kaya, and Kaya rushed over and came to the rescue.
Cody was honored for it today by Oakland County Sheriff Mike Bouchard. He got a new toy helicopter, a cake, a Chuck E. Cheese gift card because somebody is turning 4 next month, and he was named a junior deputy. Bouchard also said that a lesson could be learned from all this.
It's a good reminder for all parents that you should talk to your kids that if something happened, what would they do in an emergency?
Chantel found out what her son would do in an emergency, and he passed with flying colors.
He definitely know what to do. He's just an amazing kid.
He sure is. What a cutie, too. Chantel also thanked everyone at the sheriff's office for the honor, but she was most thankful for Cody, who she also called her superhero. I wanted to bring in Darnell to talk more about this. As a former police officer, I'm sure you've seen many instances where a kid has done something great to save mom or dad or someone in their family.
Absolutely.
I'm always encouraged and inspired when little ones know what to do, even sometimes when we haven't taught them, which is part of the problem.
Yeah, but it's a huge problem. But the cool thing about this, or the coolest thing about this story, is obviously the kid saving his mom's life, but the fact that he tried to call 911 first.
Right.
And he had the wherewithal to call somebody else after he didn't get through 911.
Right.
One of the things that I want to highlight, Nick, is the fact that it's so important to put pictures in for your favorite contacts or your relatives in your phone.
Oh, so
because
if he can't read.
If he can't read, he can see a picture. And if you're like my wife, who gives my kid the phone all the time, you know, I'm sorry. No, not at all. Not at all.
Rhonda watching right now?
No, she's probably not.
I'm going to send her a clip.
Thanks, Nick. If you do that, I mean, they know how to navigate the phone.
Yeah.
And so
they know how to use it, but they don't know about who's.
They can't read. Yeah. So the picture is a great identifier.
Okay.
So that
was a great idea.
It was a cool thing, you know, for the little boy. I'm sure that's probably what happened, or just went to those favorites. So important to put pictures in there so they can see, hey, this sort of, and let's have a conversation about things that are, you know, if you have health issues or what to do in that type of situation.
I am curious. So he called 911. Dispatch couldn't understand it because he's only, you know, a 3-year-old little boy. And then he hangs up. What happens then? They're trying to call back. They're going to send somebody based on the ping of where the cell phone is, right?
Yeah, if they have units available, they're going to send somebody out, you know, just to double check it, you know, and if they have the availability to do so. And most times, you know, agencies can, but again, what if they didn't have the availability?
I can't imagine what that would have been like for the dispatcher, who's probably frustrated, not in a mean way, but like obviously someone needs help, but I don't know who or what or where.
Yeah, that's tough. And sometimes if you're on a roll, it's hard to ping those, even the cell phones, at least to get a quick ping on those. So it was really the young man, I mean, just phenomenal for him to have the wherewithal to do that.
Yeah,
So.
which actually brings me to a totally separate point, but I want to bring it up too, is that, and I could be wrong here, but I believe that you can register, I think you have to now, your home address with your cell phone. So if there is an emergency, first responders and dispatch know at least what the home address is.
I think they encourage you to. I don't know if it's a mandate, but definitely something that's encouraged.
Yeah, okay. All right, okay. So I want to talk about a few more other things here. Instagram is now rolling out some big steps to make the platform actually safer for teens now.
Yes, now partnering with schools to report cyberbullying for middle school and high school students so they can sign up in the app to get an official account and report safety concerns on Instagram.
Yeah, the pilot test of the program found the drawback, though, is that most kids don't report cyberbullying. So Instagram is also adding PG-13 restrictions on these teen accounts, which is a very big deal because, as we know, social media has opened that gateway for cyberbullying, and a lot of kids don't know what to do with it or how to handle it.
Yeah, so this is a huge deal, and it's a good thing to finally be in you know, to put this together. I mean, as parents, you're a parent of a teenager, and some preteens as well coming to be teenagers. I mean, this is huge, and sometimes they don't want to report it, so let's try to prevent it because they don't want the backlash of trying to report it, so let's try to prevent it anyway.
Right. So I know one of the concerns, and it's more about sextortion than cyberbullying, but kids who unfortunately get wrapped up in a situation like that are so ashamed and so embarrassed that they don't talk to mom or dad or grandma or grandpa or whoever they could talk to. And I wish that we could change society so kids know that crap happens, let's take care of the problem, and let me help you.
That I think, Nick, starts with being a parent at home. I mean, you talk about Gianna all the time and the relationship that you guys have, and it starts with just making sure that your kids are comfortable to talk to you. And if not to you, to your wife or to a responsible adult.
Sure,
So
right.
having that conversation is more important than anything to say, hey, you're going to mess up. You're going to make mistakes.
We all are.
We are.
We all did back in the day.
Hey, thank God for none of that stuff then, you know. But we're all going to make those mistakes. So just having a conversation and making them feel comfortable.
Right. Okay. One other story while you're here. We're getting very close to Halloween, and it's a warning that parents need to hear every year about this time. Check the trick-or-treat bags for those dangerous items or even contaminated candy.
Yeah, one of the things that we talk about this year, but is to check those bags, and more importantly, to check those bags for possible marijuana edibles. They often look like candy with fancy packaging, and it could be hard to distinguish marijuana edibles from regular Halloween candy, but dispensaries across the country are urging parents to make sure that they're aware.
Yeah, so obviously be aware, check all the labels of your kids' candy. Marijuana is usually clearly and labeled and comes in some resealable packages, unlike regular candy. I know it seems daunting because when the kids go out, you get hundreds and hundreds of pieces of candy, but it's probably a good idea. I remember I was visiting a marijuana retail place for a story years ago over in the Lansing area, and they were making what appeared to be M&Ms, but they were edibles, but they looked identical. And I remember thinking to myself, I understand why there's a market for this, but I also understand how this could be very dangerous because not only can a kid confuse this if they just see it laying out, they just pop an M&M, right? But now it's becoming an issue where it gets mixed in and even the adults might not even know.
Absolutely. I think that the most important thing is to check, recheck, and check the packaging, just like you would with anything. And if you have doubt, throw it out. There's so many.
You can replace that,
exactly.
that candy, right?
It's so. I mean, the kids get so much candy as it is, and when in doubt, just throw it out and get rid of it. I mean, you don't want to be sampling stuff and you get high. I mean, don't go start sampling.
Is this edible or not?
You know, but you just. I mean, just like with anything. And one thing I want to stress, Nick, is that we've kind of. I think some parents have moved away from checking candy for sharp objects and everything. Just sadly, don't let your guard down. We live in a society where people do bad things for just no reason other than doing them.
That's what I want to ask you too, is that, you know, I can't imagine a world where somebody would intentionally put drugs in a trick-or-treat bag for kids, but I guess it can happen? It happens?
It can happen. It can happen. And in this day and age, and just as you said, I mean, M&Ms or something looks like M&Ms when it really...
Or anything, right.
Anything, for that matter. And these gummies, I mean, they're gummies, and kids may think that they're gummies. And so, quite honestly, any single package or single plastic bag, something that's not sealed, we throw it out anyway. Right. I mean, because we don't want to even take the chance. So.
I remember years ago getting, it was like a little Ziploc baggie full of like assorted candy that wasn't individually wrapped. I'm like, we're just throwing that whole thing away.
Absolutely.
I don't know what's going on there.
Absolutely, you don't. And I mean, it's just something you got to be cautious of and conscientious of all the time.
All right, so one more important question. Are you the full-size, king-size candy bar house?
No.
Neither am I. No. I'm buying the minis and tossing them out.
That's right, buddy.
Right.
I mean, more. You get more.
That's it. Bigger bang for your buck.
That's right, buddy.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate you. We're going to come back here in just a few minutes with a case that drew national attention 5 years ago. A case of a woman declared dead, taken to a funeral home, but here's the thing, she was very much alive. That story is next. But before we go to break, we are playing it forward with our Go Forward event today. We can see one person with one guitar, going to be strumming those strings here in a little bit. Priya is actually getting the clarinet warmed up and ready to go. You can scan the QR code there on your screen right now to find out the details, or you can also donate. If you don't have an instrument or don't want to part with the one you have, maybe you at least want to donate a little money so kids can have something. Or if you do want to donate a gently used instrument, we're going to be outside the Detroit Harmony building from now until 6 p.m. That's over off Cass, between Martin Luther King Jr. On Cass over by Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. 8:42 here on Wednesday. It is a Metro Detroit case that got national attention 5 years ago. Tamisha Beauchamp was declared dead, put in a body bag, and taken to a funeral home. The problem? Well, she was alive when funeral home workers opened that body bag, and now 5 years later, her family still waiting for answers. Will Jones has the details about this as it surrounds a stalled lawsuit.
There's been delay after delay, and the attorney for the family of Tamisha Beauchamp puts the blame on the city of Southfield. They say, let's get this case to trial.
The Southfield woman pronounced dead, only to be taken to a funeral home and discovered to be very alive.
It was a story Local 4 reported 5 years ago that made national headlines. Erica Lattimore still can't believe it happened to her family.
To hear someone say, your child is deceased, to later hearing she's not. That's devastating to a family.
August 23rd, 2020, paramedics with the Southfield Fire Department pronounced Tamisha Beauchamp dead at her home. Later at the funeral home, workers discovered it was a big mistake and called 911.
I've been doing this like 32 years. I've never had situation like this.
Tamisha, who lived with cerebral palsy, was still alive. She was taken to a hospital and passed away weeks later on October 18th.
She couldn't speak for herself. She laid in a body bag alive and couldn't even tell nobody.
Since then, Lattimore has been fighting for justice, filing a lawsuit against Southfield EMS paramedics. The case was set to go to trial last month, but now it's delayed again because the defendants are claiming governmental immunity.
They're using procedural tactics to try and delay ultimately being held accountable.
They just won't allow us to have our day in court. I think that's not right.
But Tamisha's mom knows a delay is not a denial.
So I just take one day at a time and pray that God just continue to give me the strength that I need to get through this, because I'm not giving up.
It could be another year before this case goes to trial. We did reach out to the city of Southfield for a response. They say they don't comment on pending litigation. In Southfield, Will Jones, Local 4.
All right, well, thank you much. After the break, we are heading to Monroe. That's where a father is taking on one of the Detroit Big Three. Next, the response from the automaker as the family just wants to enjoy their new ride. Welcome back. Stellantis responding to a lawsuit filed by a man who has been dealing with nothing but trouble since he got his new SUV. The automaker is trying to get the lawsuit dismissed. This Monroe father is fighting Stellantis after dealing with multiple setbacks, including the hybrid SUV allegedly shutting down on I-75. As Shante Passmore explains, 2 years later, he is paying for the lease as it sits in the shop.
Good morning. The Monroe father tells me the hybrid SUV went from being an ideal vehicle for his growing family to a lemon. At this point, all he wants is a fair purchase. Instead, he's out of money and a car.
In 2023, the Phillips welcomed their newborn, leasing this Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE for their growing family.
There's Nico's ride.
Their dream car turning into a nightmare.
Every issue we've had with this car, it's not the transmission, it's not mechanical, it's not the wheels falling off. It's all electrical components.
Initially, the family said glitches affected features like the navigation system, cameras, steering controls, even losing heat in the winter. This is a stack of service invoices. the father started looking into Michigan's lemon law. After back and forth trips to the dealership, the Phillips began an arbitration process with FCA, a subsidiary of Stellantis. In April 2024, the arbitrator ruled in favor of FCA, citing the warranty and all issues being fixed. But in May of 2025, the hybrid SUV shut off on I-75 in the fast lane on his wife, Carly. In a safety recall report, it cited a software error could lead to loss of drive power. In a statement, Stellantis wrote, "The safety of our customers is a top priority, and the company is actively deploying a remedy for this campaign. FCA US is voluntarily recalling an estimated 91,787 U.S. market vehicles to update their hybrid control processor software." After the freeway incident, the Phillips went back for another arbitration, this time winning.
You started leasing a car in 2023.
2023.
It only had 16 miles on it.
16 miles.
But you noticed later on that it already had service prior to you starting to lease.
Right, yeah. We found this out May of this year after the highway shut-off incident. We pressed the dealership for all service history of the car, and we found out at 10 and 12 miles they were servicing the hybrid system and replaced some of the critical components of the hybrid system.
Since May, the SUV has sat at the dealership for repairs and testing. The family claims they're paying about $1,000 a month for the lease and insurance on something they can't drive.
Meanwhile, the father tells me he's not interested in any more repairs, and they believe that a trade would actually mean they'd lose money as the Phillips family is getting ready to expect baby number 2. They're possibly bracing for a legal showdown. I'm Shantae Passmore, Local 4.
All right, Shantae, thank you much. The Lions gearing up for Monday Night Football without a key player. Up next, what Dan Campbell is saying after the suspension of Brian Branch. Over to Ford Field we go, where the Lions will take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football at 7 o'clock. But they're going to do it without their key player, safety Brian Branch. He was suspended by the NFL for one game for this fight with the Kansas City wide receiver Juju Smith-Schuster. On Sunday night, we heard from the Lions head coach Dan Campbell about that suspension.
The whole Brian Branch situation, you've already addressed it at the game, but obviously he was frustrated with Juju, and that led to some of his outbursts or whatever. How can you tell him how to constructively manage that frustration?
He knows that. We've talked about it. I saw him yesterday before all this came down, and so he understands all that. You know, he knows he can't react that way, and he'll be better for this. So he'll learn from it.
It's an emotionally charged game, obviously, very physical, a lot of stuff going on. How do you tell the players, all the players, not just him, how to kind of walk that line of staying, aggressive, emotionally invested, all that stuff, but being smart so that you don't hurt the team.
Yeah, well, our guys know that. I mean, look, this is one instance of something that happened, and it doesn't matter what led to it. We all know it's no different than you're driving down the road and something happens on the highway, right? You can't take out your aggression on somebody else. Can't cross that line. Our players know that. Brian knows it. He's fine. He'll learn from this and be better. Listen, he's an outstanding young man. He really is, and he's got a big heart. And he made a mistake, and he'll learn from it.
Now again, the Lions take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield on Monday Night Football. The Bucs have the best record in the NFC right now. A live look at Mackinac Island, where they are winding down for the season. Major hotels like the Chippewa, Hotel Iroquois, and Grand Hotel will close on October 26th and 27th. Many businesses and fudge shops will be shutting down after Halloween. The island will be pretty much closed at the end of the month. The Shepherd's Ferry will end its service on October 26th. Let's check your forecast with Ashley.
Now, forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
We'll be drying things out as the day rolls on, but we will be on a cooler note, which is a big change from where we've started off October. You can see the first half of the month coming in mainly above average. 10 days, in fact, recorded above average. That includes 70s and 80s. 2 of the days right where we should be and only 2 below average. So I would say today and tomorrow will be very seasonal where we should be for mid-October. Forecasting low to mid-60s for that afternoon high. And so we will have more clouds than sun for at least the first part of the afternoon until this evening when we start to clear things out. So if you're heading out to the Red Wings game, you don't need to have any kind of rain gear. It's going to be mostly clear, which once we get past sunset means tumbling temperatures. So prepare for 50-degree temperatures as you're walking to your car as you leave the arena for tonight. But the dinner hour, likely low 60s. Puck drops at 7 o'clock. And so just a really nice, pleasant evening to be in downtown Detroit, taking on some hockey in the D. Now, low temperatures tonight will be much cooler compared to what we woke up to this morning. That's because of the clear skies. So forecasting 30s the farther inland you go. That means the farther west and north away from the lakeshore will be falling into the mid to upper 30s, which could lead to some patchy frost formation. So just warning you that you could see some frost in some of our suburbs. But fall foliage. Let's get to that because the cooler nights that we've encountered over the last several days have allowed for some pop in color. And so the current report that came out yesterday put us past peak in the western half of the UP and right at peak in the other portions of the Upper Peninsula. As far as lower Michigan, we're looking at moderate to a couple patches of high color. But a week from now is when we will see peak color in the northern half of the Upper Peninsula. So if you have a place up north, maybe in the next week, you should go up and take in that color. Otherwise, we'll have moderate to high color across southeastern Michigan. How does that stack up with the average? Well, along southeastern Michigan, we usually hit our peak color mid to late October. So we're really on time when it comes to that color change. It's just not quite as vibrant as we've had in years past. Been a rather dull fall, but we're starting to see some of the color change. So clouds and radar forecast because we do have more rain in the forecast, but not until we get to probably Friday night. Can't rule out a passing shower, though. It's pretty isolated. Some scattered rain possible Saturday, but the bulk of the rain looks to arrive on Sunday. Now, this model pulling it in the morning and keeping us in that pattern through the day, even into Sunday evening. We're still several days out, so we have to fine tune that part of the forecast. But nonetheless, I do believe the second half of the weekend at this point looks to be a little more active than what we have on tap for your Saturday. So if you are heading out to the Big House Saturday for that noon kickoff against Washington, well, you can plan for a chance for showers by game's end, but I think overall partly to mostly cloudy, and we will be rising from the 60s into the 70s. Now, those rain chances will be a little more prominent for your Sunday, but scattered variety throughout the day. So as we take a closer look at this 7-day forecast, warmest day of the week, Saturday, high of 75, but the rain throughout the day Sunday cools us back off into seasonal 60s. We'll start off below average on Monday as the Lions will be in town, 59 for the high, and then back in the 60s by Tuesday of next week.
Hey, Ashley, thank you much. The Detroit Pistons kick off the regular season 1 week from today, and tonight you'll get an inside look into the team's historic turnaround, and you'll hear how the team went from the worst in the league to a playoff team in 1 year. Head coach J.B. Bickerstaff and president of basketball operations Trajan Langdon are speaking at the Detroit Economic Club. You can watch that tonight at 6:30, streaming on Local 4 Plus and on clickondetroit.com. In the next hour on Local 4 Live, Doc McGee explains why bringing someone with you to a doctor's appointment could be a good idea. Plus, will Broadway go dark? the threat of a strike that could put musicals and plays in the dark. And Priya is live at our latest Go For It event. We're collecting instrument donations, how you can give a child the gift of music. More news, more weather, more Local 4 Plus next.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Well, welcome back to Local 4 Live, everybody. I'm Nick Monticelli. More conversations coming up in the next hour of news. Do you often go to your doctor's appointments alone? Well, new research out of the U of M area, which as you can see right next to me, finds it may be better to bring someone along with you. Dr. Frank McGeorge is going to tell us why. And then a live look also at the Gordie Howe Bridge. We just got word the opening date has been pushed back when it's now expected to open. And it's time to go for it. We are collecting instruments all morning, all day actually in Detroit, how you can help give a child the gift of music. Let's get to your news headlines on this Wednesday morning. A car slamming into a home on Detroit's west side overnight, and look at all the damage there. Police say the male driver lost control and hit the house at the corner of Roselawn and Curtis. That's near Bagley Elementary. There were people inside of the house at the time, but nobody was hurt. The driver was taken to a hospital for his injuries. A Detroit mom is heading to court after a school stabbing incident involving her 13-year-old daughter. Prosecutors say LaCara Parks gave her daughter a pocket knife at Gompers Elementary Middle School, and her daughter allegedly stabbed another 13-year-old girl. The daughter is facing assault and possessing a weapon in a school zone charge and is under strict rules not to see the victim or other students from the school. Her mother is facing misdemeanor charges and will be formally charged today. The Michigan State Police are facing troubling allegations from a 25-year veteran of the MSP. According to a federal lawsuit, Sarah Krebs, the ex-chief of DEI, claims years of retaliation, discrimination, and harassment from MSP and its leader, Colonel James Grady. She claims the agency ignored qualifications and prioritized DEI initiatives during hiring. She also accuses a male lieutenant of harassment. Local 4 reached out to MSP and Colonel Grady, but we have not yet heard back. A Monroe father says his family's dream car turned into a nightmare, and now he's taking on Stellantis. The family leased a new Jeep Grand Cherokee hybrid in 2023, but they say they've had nothing but problems, including electrical issues, navigation glitches. They even lost power on I-75. Stellantis did announce a recall, saying a software error could cause the hybrid to lose power. The family says their car may have even had problems before they bought it.
We found this out May of this year after the highway shut-off incident. We pressed the dealership for all service history of the car, and we found out at 10 and 12 miles they were servicing the hybrid system and replaced some of the critical components of the hybrid system.
Now, the company said in a statement that safety is its top priority, and they are updating the software in about 92,000 vehicles. The family is suing Stellantis, and Stellantis is trying to have that lawsuit dismissed. In Macomb Township, deputies are searching for whoever shot a man at a very large house, a mansion almost, at 24 Mile Road. This is video from Sky 4 above the home yesterday. Investigators say a dark-colored SUV was spotted near the scene from Wellington Valley Drive. The victim is expected to be okay, but anybody with information is asked to call the sheriff's office. Well, it's delayed again. The opening of the Gordie Howe International Bridge is pushed back. The original opening date was expected to be this fall, but now officials say it might be early next year. Officials say construction delays and extra safety testing are slowing things down. The exact date still depends on final inspections. Experts say once it's complete, the bridge will connect southwest Detroit to Windsor, making crossing the border a whole lot easier. Happening tonight, Mary Sheffield and Solomon Kinlock Jr. will go head-to-head in a mayoral debate. It's starting at 7 o'clock tonight. You can watch a full recap of that debate tomorrow morning right here on Local 4. Well, every child deserves the gift of music, and that's why we want you to help us go for it and play it forward. We're collecting new or gently used musical instruments outside the Detroit Harmony Building until 6 o'clock tonight. That's off Cass Avenue near Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Priya Mann is out there live as she's collecting donations one by one, and even says she's going to play the clarinet for us.
Stop.
It's said live on television, Priya. You can't deny it.
Nick, we got to give the people what they want, and nobody wants me playing the clarinet. But I will tell. No, I'll tell you one thing, though. Our buddy Darnell just pulled up, and there was a crowd that came and greeted him. I know a lot of folks, including yourself, will be out here today, and this is such a great event. I'm joined by Paula, who's with Michigan State University. Music is near and dear to your heart.
Yes, I am a musician myself, and I'm so excited to be here. We have a waiting list of kids waiting for instruments, so please, 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 they don't have to do anything at home, so just bring them here. We're gonna be sure that these kids have the instruments. We actually have, as I told you before, our harp program. So we have these amazing harps.
Talk to me about the harps.
The baby harps. I call it baby harps because they're small. And we created a partnership with Detroit Harmony, and they brought us the harp, and we have the kids. We start with 3, and now we have 7.
Oh my God! And these are like tiny little harps.
Yeah, they are halfway. So our youngest is like 8 years old. She's playing the harp, and they're carrying the harp everywhere. So it's super exciting to see it at school.
And come over here, Paula, because we want to show some of these amazing instruments that have been donated here. And this is what folks. Oh, look, we just got a donation. Come on over here, Paula. Let's go over here. We're gonna go see if. Hi, honey. You did try to tell me. What did you just donate? You donated a violin. Paula is so excited. She's in Michigan State University. These are programs that are really going to help kids. What's it like for you to be able to donate and know you're making a difference?
It's wonderful because I was trying to find something to do with it, and I didn't want to do the wrong thing.
And what do you think about programs like this?
I love it.
Yeah?
I love it. Yes. Music, I don't know, touched my life, and it touched my son's life. He's been a musician. So.
That's incredible. Thank you for coming out and donating a violin. What's your name, hon? Well, thank you so much, Lavergie. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, isn't that what it's all about, Paula?
Yes, I love it. Thank you so much. You have one more future violinist.
Look at that. That's amazing. Your face says it all. Again, we are here on Cass at Detroit Harmony. This is Cass and MLK in Midtown. We're here till 6 p.m., Paula. What are you hoping for today?
Fill out the shelves. We need instruments. We need happy kids.
Fill the shelves! That's right. This is our Go For It event, and we are so excited to be here. Paula, thank you so much for everything that you do. All right, Nick, I think you might be really good at those baby harps she was talking about.
No question about it. Yeah, I play a tiny violin every once in a while, too, when I hear you talking about things.
Yeah. All right, we'll get you a little bit of cheese with your wine, okay?
Okay, a question. I just got an email from somebody saying they would donate like dozens of instruments if you play one of them.
Gotta go. I think I'm having IFE problems.
You can't
guys.
you can't
Gotta
use
go.
the same joke over and over again, Priya.
I only used it twice.
All right, thanks.
Bye,
Priya.
Nick.
Remember, you can drop off instruments at the Detroit Harmony Building in Detroit until 6 o'clock tonight. That building, again, is off Cass near Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. You can also scan the QR code there for more information. Or if you'd like to donate, you don't have an instrument, but you want to help give kids the gift of music, you can donate by scanning that QR code as well. 9:08 here on your Wednesday. A little company could go a long way at the doctor's office. A new study revealing the benefits of bringing a healthcare companion. Doc McGee is going to look at that study and tell you what he thinks when we come back. All right. Would you want a spouse, your friend, your bestie to come along with you to your doctor's appointment? A new study from this place right here, U of M, says that it offers a lot of benefits. We're talking to a researcher at U of M about what you can gain when you bring a healthcare companion. Here's Doc McGee.
Hey, thanks. I'm joined by Dr. Jeffrey Colgren from the University of Michigan. He's an internist. And Dr. Colgren, let's just start out. Before we get into the poll results, tell me about your personal, thoughts on having a companion with someone at their healthcare visit.
Well, I think having a companion at a healthcare visit can be very important for patients. We know it's certainly hard being a patient in the healthcare system. And bringing somebody with you is one way that can be made a little bit easier. So in this poll, we were interested in learning about how often patients were bringing someone with them to their appointments, who they're bringing with them, and what kind of support those individuals provided.
In your own practice, when you see a patient, does it ever feel awkward to have someone else in the room, or do you find it more beneficial?
Yeah, I think that can vary from patient to patient. Doesn't feel awkward at all to me. It's always something important to know, of course, at the beginning of the appointment so that you can figure out how to bring that person into the encounter and to be of most benefit to that patient. And, certainly there are some patients that want someone there with them and to be an active part in the conversation. There are other people that might be a little bit more private or reluctant and don't want somebody with them at all. And that's always, of course, up to the patient. And so it's something as a clinician you just need to be ready for, and you need to center around that individual patient's preferences and needs.
So your recent poll focused on older adults and people accompanying them. What did you find?
Yeah, so we found about a third of patients who had a healthcare encounter in the last year had brought somebody along with them to that appointment. Most of the time that was a spouse or a partner. but the next most common type of person who came along was an adult child. And we found that there were a variety of different reasons why people brought someone with them to an appointment. First and foremost, that was just to keep them company. Often patients have to wait a long time, whether it's in a waiting room or wait for the doctor to come in once you get put in the exam room, et cetera. And so there were a variety of different things that people wanted that healthcare companion, as we called it, to provide. We did find, though, that when somebody brought them along to an appointment, that there were a lot of benefits to that. The vast majority of people who brought someone with them to an appointment found that to be very beneficial in a number of different ways.
And what were some of those ways?
Yeah, some of those ways included, the vast majority of people who had someone come along with them to an appointment said it helped them feel more comfortable sharing health information with a clinician, which I thought was very, very important. The vast majority also felt that it helped them follow through with the provider's instructions. I know certainly when I'm a patient, even as a doctor myself, I have a hard time keeping track of everything that my own doctor recommends or says. So having somebody come along with you can really help you keep track of those things. And importantly, about 3/4 of people who brought someone along with them to an appointment felt that it actually positively improved the quality of care they received. So there were really a number of important benefits that having a healthcare companion provided.
Now, you said about a third had healthcare companions, so that would imply about 2/3 didn't have a
That's right.
companion. I guess what were your what were your findings regarding those that didn't have companions? Had they ever thought about it, or were they just dismissive of the idea?
Yeah. So in our poll, we did ask people who did not bring a healthcare companion with them, why not? And the most common reason was feeling that it wasn't help that they needed. The next most common reason was preferring not to have someone come along with them. And we were a little bit surprised by that. I think we worried about potentially, we wanted to learn about, were there people for whom they just didn't have somebody come along with them?
Yeah.
That's something we've looked into a lot at the University of Michigan National Poll on Healthy Aging, which I direct, is the issue of loneliness among older adults, an increasingly common and concerning issue that really can affect older adults' health. And we found that was actually a much less common reason for not bringing someone along with them. So we were a little bit heartened to learn that wasn't a really common reason, not having someone to bring with them. So the vast majority of people who didn't have someone come with them, it was more a matter of just feeling like it wasn't something they needed or wanted.
Now, in many cases, I think if someone is healthy, they may not have a perception that they have a need, I guess, to have an extra person there versus when they have a lot of medical problems. But I guess talk about your own experience. When I find when someone comes in and they have an advocate with them that knows them, they often will prod them and say, "Hey, tell the doctor." You're basically like you're not telling the whole story. I mean, is that another good reason to have someone there?
Yeah, it absolutely can be. And I think our poll results point to that very issue. So, I mentioned how one of the benefits that was very common among people who brought a healthcare companion with them was feeling more comfortable sharing health information. So having that, whether we want to call it an advocate, a companion, a partner with you, just someone who knows you very, very well and maybe helps you feel more comfortable. I think that can empower patients to share that information that they may be a little more reluctant to share. Also, our findings related to positively impacting the quality of care received. I know certainly from both our poll and my own experience as a primary care physician, sometimes that person who's in the room, just as you said, can say, well, tell the doctor about the thing you wanted to share, right? And so sometimes that can surface an issue that we really need to look into that I might want to hear more about so that I can provide higher quality care to that patient.
And to be clear, your poll focused on older individuals, but it doesn't have to be older people. I mean, younger people can bring a companion or an advocate with them as well. I mean, for older people, it's just, I think, largely because of, perhaps cognitive issues, memory, whatever, that kind of thing. But really, anybody with medical problems should consider having someone with them to help provide additional information and provide an extra source of memory, I guess, for the encounter.
Oh, that's exactly right. So in the University of Michigan National Poll on Healthy Aging, we focus on adults age 50 and older. But I completely agree with you that people of all ages would benefit from bringing someone along with them, and they don't even need to necessarily have a health problem per se. Every patient's needs, of course, are going to be different. So I think one of the most important things for patients is if you have an upcoming appointment with your doctor, think about bringing someone with you. Realize that people who do bring someone along with them to an appointment often find it to be very beneficial.
And as far as, I guess, remembering the things that the doctor is talking about, I guess, what are your thoughts, independent of this poll, regarding either note taking or perhaps recording the encounter?
Yeah. So, I've certainly had patients do both. I suspect you probably have as well. I think the key thing is again, every patient's going to vary from this standpoint. And so it's always important, if you are going to be bringing someone along to an appointment, to really consider two things first. Number one, with that person who you're bringing along, speak to them about how they can be most helpful to you. Hey, listen, really be really helpful to me if you could take some notes, okay? Or help me remember some of the things I wanted to bring up around with the doctor. And so that's number one. Number two is tell your healthcare provider when you go in to see them, hey, I'm bringing this person along, and here's how I'm hoping they can help me. It doesn't take long. I know often outpatient visits are a lot shorter than many of us would like them to be. And there's a lot to cover in a very short amount of time. But all you need to do at the outset is just mention, hey, this is who I'm bringing along, and here's how I'm hoping they can contribute today.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Jeffrey Colgren, University of Michigan Medical School, thank you so much for talking to us this morning. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
And our thanks to Dr. Frank McGeorge for bringing that segment. Snow is actually coming down hard right now in the Sierra Nevadas, and drivers are feeling it over on the California-Nevada border. Taking a live look right now. This is actually from the Yosemite Conservancy. Chains, slow traffic, icy roads. We're going to show you what's happening and how residents are dealing with that when we come back. Welcome back. Here in Metro Detroit, it's been a relatively warm fall, even though it's getting pretty chilly now. But look at what they're dealing with in the mountains of California. Video shows heavy snow in the Sierra Nevadas. Not necessarily atypical, but of course not something you want to see in October. Chains, as you can see, they're now required on some stretches of Interstate 80. Those are required for vehicles that don't have four-wheel drive and might have a hard time getting up the steep incline on some of those mountains. Of course, nothing like that here at home, just some much cooler fall temperatures. Hey, Ash.
Now, forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
We'll be drying things out as the day rolls on, but we will be on a cooler note, which is a big change from where we've started off October. You can see the first half of the month coming in mainly above average. 10 days, in fact, recorded above average. That includes 70s and 80s. 2 of the days right where we should be and only 2 below average. So I would say today and tomorrow will be very seasonal where we should be for mid-October. Forecasting low to mid 60s for that afternoon high. And so we will have more clouds than sun for at least the first part of the afternoon until this evening when we start to clear things out. So if you're heading out to the Red Wings game, you don't need to have any kind of rain gear. It's going to be mostly clear, which once we get past sunset means tumbling temperatures. So prepare for 50-degree temperatures as you're walking to your car as you leave the arena for tonight. But the dinner hour, likely low 60s. Puck drops at 7 o'clock. And so just a really nice, pleasant evening to be in downtown Detroit, taking on some hockey in the D. Now, low temperatures tonight will be much cooler compared to what we woke up to this morning. That's because of the clear skies. So forecasting 30s the farther inland you go. That means the farther west and north away from the lakeshore will be falling into the mid to upper 30s, which could lead to some patchy frost formation. So just warning you that you could see some frost in some of our suburbs. But fall foliage, let's get to that, because the cooler nights that we've encountered over the last several days have allowed for some pop in color. And so the current report that came out yesterday put us past peak in the western half of the UP and right at peak in the other portions of the Upper Peninsula. As far as lower Michigan, we're looking at moderate to a couple patches of high color. But a week from now is when we will see peak color in the northern half of the Upper Peninsula. So if you have a place up north, maybe in the next week, you should go up and take in that color. Otherwise, we'll have moderate to high color across southeastern Michigan. How does that stack up with the average? Well, along southeastern Michigan, we usually hit our peak color mid to late October. So we're really on time when it comes to that color change. It's just not quite as vibrant as we've had in years past. Been a rather dull fall, but we're starting to see some of the color change. So clouds and radar forecast, because we do have more rain in the forecast, but not until we get to probably Friday night. Can't rule out a passing shower, though. It's pretty isolated. Some scattered rain possible Saturday, but the bulk of the rain looks to arrive on Sunday. Now, this model pulling it in the morning and keeping us in that pattern through the day, even into Sunday evening. We're still several days out, so we have to fine tune that part of the forecast. But nonetheless, I do believe the second half of the weekend at this point looks to be a little more active than what we have on tap for your Saturday. So if you are heading out to the Big House Saturday for that noon kickoff against Washington, well, you can plan for a chance for showers by game's end, but I think overall partly to mostly cloudy, and we will be rising from the 60s into the 70s. Now, those rain chances will be a little more prominent for your Sunday, but scattered variety throughout the day. So as we take a closer look at this 7-day forecast, warmest day of the week, Saturday, high of 75, but the rain throughout the day Sunday cools us back off into seasonal 60s. We'll start off below average on Monday as the Lions will be in town, 59 for the high, and then back in the 60s by Tuesday of next week.
Ashley, thank you so much. The show might not go on after Broadway musicians just voted to strike. A live look in New York City right now. When we come back, we're going to break down what that could mean as you see cameras there moving around in Times Square, what it could mean for the big lights of Broadway. Welcome back. Will the bright lights of New York City go dark? Broadway is facing a shutdown threat. The union representing musicians just voted overwhelmingly in favor of authorizing a strike. Their contract ended in August, and they are pushing for better pay, health care, and job security. While a strike isn't certain, it's now on the table. Other unions, like actors and stagehands, are also ready to strike. Talking continues with the Broadway League to find a deal before the shows actually stop. And now to Hollywood, where there are signs the film industry is starting to recover from a years-long slump. While filming days in Los Angeles were down again in the third quarter of this year, there is a bright spot. Movie shoots were up 10%. New tax incentives are helping, with 22% of film and 9% of TV productions using them. Film LA says it's a good boost, but it'll take months to see the full effect. They expect a bigger surge next year when more tax credits hit the industry. Walmart is partnering with OpenAI to let shoppers browse and buy using ChatGPT. The feature will include Walmart items along with clothing, entertainment, and food from third-party resellers. Customers can complete purchases directly in the chat using OpenAI's new instant checkout tool. This is OpenAI's biggest retail partnership to date. Walmart plans to add its Sam's Club catalog to the feature shortly after it launches sometime in the fall. Well, a wedding dress, a used one, with a new purpose, helping fight cancer in our community. When we come back, we're going to show you how the project in Ann Arbor is making dreams come true.
From downtown Detroit, Local 4 Live starts right now.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Local 4 Live. I'm Nick Monticelli. Thank you so much for watching. We've got a really great conversation here. An old wedding dress that might be sitting in your closet could actually find a new life as it helps in the fight against cancer. The Cancer Support Community of Greater Ann Arbor is funding its free services for cancer patients and families by selling donated wedding gowns. It's called the Brides Project. It's operating out of a boutique in Ann Arbor.
We have dresses as low as $100, and our most expensive dress in the shop right now is $2,500. The majority of them are between $600 and $900.
Now, around this time of year, the shop tries to collect 60 dresses in 60 days. The money from that goes to a great cause. And what is that great cause? We've got Bonnie Dockham here, the executive director of the Cancer Support Community of Greater Ann Arbor, which obviously kind of is self-explanatory in the title of what it is you do. I want to get to the dresses in a moment, but can you just kind of back up and tell us about the organization and how you're supporting those going through their treatment?
Absolutely. So the Cancer Support Community is a nonprofit in the Greater Ann Arbor area. It's actually Southeast Michigan, really, where we provide free cancer support services to all people impacted by cancer.
So what do you mean by services? Because I know it can run the gamut in terms of medical expenses or social health, mental health, all the things, because going through cancer treatment can take a toll on everything, every aspect of your life.
Absolutely. So we say that we're there for the whole family the whole time. So really what the cancer support community does is most of the things that traditional medical care doesn't. So we do everything from financial support, providing financial assistance for families who are experiencing financial toxicity as a result of their cancer. So that might be help with groceries or mortgage rent, individual therapy, counseling, support groups. We have nutrition classes, support groups, social opportunities, programs for kids. We have educational.
Programs for kids?
Yes, lots of programs for kids, actually. We have social opportunities
Is that about
for kids.
patients or children of?
Both. We have, so like we say, that cancer impacts the entire family. So we have a program called Kid Support, which is where families actually come in as a unit and then separate by developmental stage. So there's a parent group and then there are children's groups based on their developmental stage, like I said. So there might be a teen group and then like an upper elementary, a lower elementary, and it's basically play therapy to help kids understand how cancer is impacting their family.
I see. Okay, so all this sounds pretty expensive.
It is. Our budget actually this year is $1.5 million.
Really?
And we have to raise it anew every year. We don't get state or federal funding at all.
No kidding. Okay, so that's where the dresses come in.
It is.
The wedding gowns, I'm sure, you said it's been going for 15 years, but really started to ramp up the past probably 4 or 5 years?
Right. So we started 15 years ago in a small boutique in downtown Ann Arbor, but in the last 5 or so years, we've really ramped up where we have between 500 and 750 gowns in the shop at any given time. They are beautiful. When people think of a consignment shop, people often think, oh, it's like a thrift
used, dingy, right?
Yes, it is not. You can see in some of the footage that was shared a moment ago. It is a beautiful boutique, and we get gowns donated from all over the country and from individual brides. We even get gowns from pretty high-end boutiques from places
we're
like
looking
New
at
York.
them right now. I mean, and the styles run the gamut too. I mean, you can get any kind of thing there.
Absolutely. That's also part of what makes us unique, is that you never know what you're going to find. I mean, we get couture gowns from all across the country and from brides themselves.
Okay.
Yes.
So my understanding, and you have to tell me because, men are usually wrong in areas like this. A lot of times that wedding gown after the wedding will get, preserved, put in a box, and then go into a closet for the next 50, 60 years.
Right.
And sometimes it gets handed down, but a lot of times a new bride wants their own wedding gown. So is it a difficult conversation to try to get brides, years later to part with their dress? Or do you think they finally kind of get it?
Surprisingly, no, because it goes to something so meaningful. The sale of these gowns, really supports a significant portion of the cancer support community's budget. So instead of letting your dress sit in your closet and do nothing, it goes to impact, our community in a really meaningful way. It helps families who are impacted by cancer really intimately. So it can impact, sale of one gown might provide individual counseling for someone for, months. So when you really quantify it, sale of 2 gowns, it might be a support group for a year. What it does is really so incredibly meaningful. So if it's something that you're not going to do anything with, you can really sort of pay it forward and let your gown, what we say, dance again. And also, really impact people impacted by cancer in a really positive way.
So the kind of rush right now is the 60 Dresses in 60 Days campaign. I'm assuming you can just drop them off there at the boutique?
You can drop them off at the Brides Project. You can drop them off at the Cancer Support Community, which is our center off Hogback Road in Ann Arbor, or you can mail them to us. So we accept them
just
in any
grab the box and ship it over.
Yep, you would be surprised in the way that they come. They do not need to be clean. They can actually be somewhat damaged. We have a huge volunteer cohort, which we are so grateful and dependent on. All the consultants in the shops, they do all the repairs. We have volunteer seamstresses. They can repair lace. They can do all kinds of beautiful magic on the gowns. So they don't have to be perfect, and we can, you should see wine stains and dirt from farms, and we get them all cleaned up and beautiful.
No kidding.
And ready to resell.
That's very cool. Okay, so we're talking about the collecting of the dresses, but I do want to talk about new brides who are looking for dresses, because the sale is actually what funds everything. As she said in the soundbite there, you can get a gown as cheap as $100, but I'm sure it kind of runs the gamut there too.
It really does. Although, we get gowns that, we recently had a gown, I think it was $15,000 originally. It is incredible couture gown, but we priced it for $2,500. We really deeply discount the gowns to make them accessible. So you can get something, it's really fun to look at what the retail value is and then what our price pricing is.
Yeah.
But because we really want everything to be socially conscious, you know, it's very green. And so it ranges from $100 to the highest would be around that. But our average gown sale is around $700. And so
which is a huge discount on brand new.
It really is. It really is.
Okay, if I'm a new bride, can I just walk in the store and start shopping?
We do have walk-in hours, but
Okay.
we do encourage people to make appointments because then you just really get a little bit special treatment. But you can check out thebridesproject.org online and see, you know, what open hours and when you can make an appointment.
Awesome. Okay, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Real quick, too, the website, where do we go?
Yeah, you can go to cancersupportannarbor.org to learn about our free cancer support services. So if anybody in your family or anybody that you know or love is impacted by cancer, please, you know, share that information with them and how we can support them. And if you're interested in the Brides Project, visit thebridesproject.org.
Pretty simple.
Yep.
Not
Thank
hard
you.
to get there. Okay, thank you again. Appreciate it.
I appreciate being here.
All right, speaking of the Go For It spirit, we are actually playing it forward with our Go For It event today. Let's take a live look right now as we collect new or gently used musical instruments, just not pianos. We can't fit that in the truck. You can scan the QR code there at the bottom left-hand corner of your screen right now to find out all the details. That code will also take you to an area where you can give a monetary donation if you don't have an instrument you'd like to donate. If you do want to donate one, we're going to be outside the Detroit Harmony building from now until 6 o'clock tonight. That's off of Cass Avenue near Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Plus, the Detroit Pistons kick off their regular season 1 week from tonight. An inside look at the team's historic turnaround here, how the team went from the worst in the league to a playoff team in 1 year. Head coach J.B. Bickerstaff, the president of basketball operations, Tracy Langdon, are going to be there at the speaking. They're going to be speaking at the Detroit Economic Club. You can watch that tonight at 6:30, streaming right here on Local 4 Plus, and click on Detroit.com. Well, new firepower is on the way in Ukraine, but will that include American-made weapons? When we come back, we're going to break down the big decisions coming out of the NATO's meeting in Brussels. Welcome back. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is in Brussels today meeting with NATO defense ministers. Hegseth says a new push to boost firepower will help Ukraine through what's called the Prioritized Ukraine Requirements List. That program lets the U.S. and its allies supply Ukraine with new weapons using funds from NATO countries. Hegseth says the goal is to turn those commitments into real capabilities for Ukraine's fight against Russia.
It was a historic summit just a couple of months ago, brought about by leadership of President Trump to say we need our allies to step up. And they did, and they have in those commitments. Now those commitments will soon translate into capabilities, which is the most important aspect of it. And one part of that, of course, is Pearl, is the initiative where European countries buy U.S. weapons, transfer to NATO for the fight in Ukraine to bring peace to that conflict.
And that is not the only move coming out of Brussels. NATO is also sharpening its response to Russia. UK Defense Minister John Healey says allies are ramping up their defense against Russian aggression. But he also confirmed Tomahawk missiles for Ukraine are not part of those talks right now.
And so today we are stepping up together. And I can announce the UK will extend our commitment to NATO's Eastern Sentry mission, which means British jets will continue to fly over Poland until the end of the year. And we are also ramping up our drone production for Ukraine, delivering over 100,000 drones this year, and jointly building new, improved interceptor drones with Ukraine. Putin seeks to test, to divide, to distract. NATO nations step up to deter, to unite, stronger together than ever.
Experts say any decision to give Ukraine long-range missiles will likely come down to Friday's meeting between President Trump and President Zelensky. Coming back home now, new allegations are emerging against a former Detroit Medical Center nurse who had already been accused of sexually assaulting patients. A new lawsuit names not only Wilfredo Figueroa Barrios, but also Sinai Grace Hospital where he worked. Lauren Kostick has a look at the claims and what we know about the former nurse's background.
These allegations are just horrible. We now know of at least 6 victims that have come forward, and attorneys say there could be hundreds. This latest case accusing the suspect of drugging a patient and then assaulting her.
Perhaps the worst thing here is the amount of evidence showing him to have been a known predator.
Michigan sexual assault lawyers detailing new gruesome allegations against Wilfredo Figueroa Barrios, accusing the former nurse of performing an unnecessary procedure at Sinai Grace in July.
She was drugged with a type of sedative, and then she was assaulted over some time that we believe to be upwards of an hour.
But attorneys are not just going after the former nurse, but also the hospital, following similar lawsuits filed last week.
We think that the evidence that they knew, or at a minimum should have known, and prevented it, we think it's going to be absolutely insurmountable for Sinai Grace.
But Sinai Grace claims they did a background check, saying in part there was no indication of a concern during that process. So Local 4 did some of its own digging. Online records show Barrios became a nurse in 2012. In 2019, he was arrested for assault in Wayne, but no charges were ever filed. In 2020 and 2021, he faced sexual misconduct allegations at a Livonia medical facility and was fired, according to attorneys. He was then hired by Sinai Grace. And from 2024 to 2025, he allegedly assaulted 5 more people.
We want every survivor to have their story told.
And those attorneys are also representing a second victim. They hope to have that lawsuit filed soon. We also recently learned from Fire Law and Flood Law that there is new evidence that Sinai Grace knew about Barrios' behavior as early as 2018. So a lot more to dig in here. Reporting in Detroit, Lauren Kostick, Local 4.
All right, Lauren, thank you much. We are finally seeing that dip into fall weather. Some of you like it, some of you don't, but either way, Ashley has your forecast. Now, you might want to break out your sweatshirts and hoodies. Welcome back, everybody. 9:46 here on your Wednesday. Obviously, it is a lot colder than it usually is outside, but Ashley says it's seasonal as long as you are happy with, flannel. Hey, Ash.
Now, forewarned weather with Exact Track 4D.
We'll be drying things out as the day rolls on, but we will be on a cooler note, which is a big change from where we've started off October. You can see the first half of the month coming in mainly above average. 10 days, in fact, recorded above average. That includes 70s and 80s. 2 of the days right where we should be and only 2 below average. So I would say today and tomorrow will be very seasonal where we should be for mid-October. Forecasting low to mid 60s for that afternoon high. And so we will have more clouds than sun for at least the first part of the afternoon until this evening when we start to clear things out. So if you're heading out to the Red Wings game, you don't need to have any kind of rain gear. It's going to be mostly clear, which once we get past sunset means tumbling temperatures. So prepare for 50-degree temperatures as you're walking to your car as you leave the arena for tonight. But the dinner hour, likely low 60s. Puck drops at 7 o'clock. And so just a really nice, pleasant evening to be in downtown Detroit, taking on some hockey in the D. Now, low temperatures tonight will be much cooler compared to what we woke up to this morning. That's because of the clear skies. So forecasting 30s the farther inland you go. That means the farther west and north away from the lakeshore will be falling into the mid to upper 30s, which could lead to some patchy frost formation. So just warning you that you could see some frost in some of our suburbs. But fall foliage. Let's get to that because the cooler nights that we've encountered over the last several days have allowed for some pop in color. And so the current report that came out yesterday put us past peak in the western half of the UP and right at peak in the other portions of the Upper Peninsula. As far as lower Michigan, we're looking at moderate to a couple patches of high color. But a week from now is when we will see peak color in the northern half of the Upper Peninsula. So if you have a place up north, maybe in the next week, you should go up and take in that color. Otherwise, we'll have moderate to high color across southeastern Michigan. How does that stack up with the average? Well, along southeastern Michigan, we usually hit our peak color mid to late October. So we're really on time when it comes to that color change. It's just not quite as vibrant as we've had in years past. Been a rather dull fall, but we're starting to see some of the color change. So clouds and radar forecast because we do have more rain in the forecast, but not until we get to probably Friday night. Can't rule out a passing shower, though. It's pretty isolated. Some scattered rain possible Saturday, but the bulk of the rain looks to arrive on Sunday. Now, this model pulling it in the morning and keeping us in that pattern through the day, even into Sunday evening. We're still several days out, so we have to fine tune that part of the forecast. But nonetheless, I do believe the second half of the weekend at this point looks to be a little more active than what we have on tap for your Saturday. So if you are heading out to the Big House Saturday for that noon kickoff against Washington, well, you can plan for a chance for showers by game's end, but I think overall partly to mostly cloudy, and we will be rising from the 60s into the 70s. Now, those rain chances will be a little more prominent for your Sunday, but scattered variety throughout the day. So as we take a closer look at this 7-day forecast, warmest day of the week, Saturday, high of 75, but the rain throughout the day Sunday cools us back off into seasonal 60s. We'll start off below average on Monday as the Lions will be in town, 59 for the high, and then back in the 60s by Tuesday of next week.
All right, new week, new rankings, and some surprises in our high school football power poll. When we're back, Hobie is going to count down the top 10 teams you should be watching this Friday. Another big week of high school football on the horizon, and there's a shakeup in our weekly power poll with our partners over at State Champs. Hobie Artigue has a look at this week's top 10.
It's already week number 8 for our Local 4 State Champs Power Poll, joined by Lauren Plant. And Lauren, only a couple of weeks to go in the regular season, but also a couple of changes this week in the Power Poll.
That's right. Another week of blowouts, buzzer beaters, and Harper Woods saying, hey, State Champs, eyes up here.
And they moved up big time this week. More to come on that in a little bit. But teams 10-6 right now. East Kentwood, after their loss to Hudsonville, they're at number 10. Rockford, number 9. But Orchard Lake St. Mary's up at number 8. After that loss that they had earlier, they've continued to look pretty good.
Absolutely. They're 5-1, up 1. They did take down Toledo Central Catholic 36-21. Big win.
Saline dropping a little bit, coming in at number 7. Their first loss of the year. Yes, they put up 30-plus points, but when you give up 41, it's not going to cut it.
That's right. So they're down 3 spots. They did lose to Harper Woods. We'll talk about it. First time, though, surrendering more than 3 Ds this season. Pretty good.
Number 6, Clarkson, your OAA Red champions.
That's right. Up a slot, handled West Bloomfield. Their next game now, they take on the OAA Blue champs, 6-1 Farmington, which is a surprise.
Looking at number 5, Davison staying put there once again this week, but they got their first shutout victory of the season.
Yeah, really pounded Flint Carmen Ainsworth in their victory. Their next game is at number 11, Grand Blanc. Big rivalry.
Number 4, Hudsonville down 1 spot. They were number 3 last week, and they had a very, very close call against East Kentwood.
No doubt. Edged number 8 East Kentwood 43-42. Game-winning Hail Mary as time expired. You got to see it to believe it. Really is Hudsonville now doing the heart-stopping. It was Cass Tech early. Yeah. It's the Eagles now.
Last week we said that Harper Woods was knocking on the door. Well, they kicked that thing in, the Pioneers did this week, up to number 3. Very impressive for a D4 school.
They beat number 4 Saline by 2 scores, which is impressive. Most playoff points in the MHSAA right now, arguably the most prolific offense in the state, led by Dakota Garan.
Number 2, Detroit Catholic Central staying there, their most lopsided victory of the season.
Yeah, so they really demolished Toledo St. John's. They've got Grand Ledge.
And staying put at number 1 again, Cass Tech staying at the top spot. Another huge win for them.
Yeah, outscored the PSO opponents this season 250-22. The next game, PSL Championship versus number 12 King at Ford Field.
Should be an exciting one, and we will have you covered with only 2 games to go in the regular season on Local 4 and over on State Champs.
Go check it out.
All right, Hobie, thank you, sir. And here it is. This week's Game of the Week matchup takes us to Livingston County. It's Howell against Brighton. Tune in this Friday at 7 o'clock on the Local 4 Plus app or click on Detroit.com for the Local 4 Game of the Week, brought to you by State Champs Game Time Live and presented by Hungry Howie's. See, I got it all in. We have so much more coming up throughout the day here on Local 4. Guess who's here? Tati and Kimdi from Live in the D. What is happening? Oh, while you were on your leave, Kim, we found something out. That
what?
During the segment, I have to...
He's so shady.
Because
of me?
Because of me.
Oh.
Actually, that's because of both of you.
Yeah, right? I was like, short people matter.
Maybe I went too far. The camera's going to cut down too.
No, that's right. I'm about to steal that. That's perfect.
Like a candy bar?
Yes.
You know?
Wait.
We're fun size.
Full size?
Fun size.
You know.
I know.
It's got jokes.
You're king size.
You're tall. I didn't realize how tall you were until I was around you without heels on. And I was like, hi, Nick, how you doing?
Well, that is like the #1 thing when people see me in real life.
You spend a lot of time in high heels.
Yeah, but a lot of times people see me and then I'm, not in high heels.
Right.
And the first thing they say is, you're short. And I'm like, excuse me?
Is there a nice to meet you before that? Or is it?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I can only imagine, but we've got a great show today.
What's coming up?
We are highlighting an event called Uncork for a Cure, which is all about raising money for breast cancer.
Oh.
It's a huge event. It's also turned into like a culinary, event that people have on their calendar that they can't wait to get to every year.
Sounds like there's wine involved too.
A good chef that you love
Yes.
from Ann Arbor.
Yes.
Miss Kim.
Miss Kim. Yeah.
It's funny you bring that up because we just had on the show the Brides Project, which I think you did a story on over in Ann Arbor, where they take the dresses.
Did you just? Yes.
And they resell them to raise money for their families.
Like designer dresses.
Yes.
That are like.
She said they just got a $25,000 dress in.
And they sell it for like $1,000.
Yeah.
Like, if I get married again, no.
Girl,
if I
when
do
you
like
renew your
vows.
Kevin, if you're watching.
Exactly. I am going there because I want to be like in this like and then, your dress you wear it one time.
I know, so you don't want to I would never spend $25,000 on a dress. That
No.
feels crazy.
Exactly.
But where does this happen?
It's in Ann Arbor.
wouldn't.
Yep,
In
it's
Ann
called the Bridal
Project.
Project.
Yeah.
The Bride's Project.
Yes.
We've got a little boutique. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Live in the D.
Yes, live in the D. Oh, we're also talking about car prices. I know you always have a good car. You've got a big old truck.
I do. I love my big truck.
But they are like
outrageous.
sticker shock. Like you keep thinking like, well, I'm gonna wait to buy a new car. Like its prices will drop. Oh, nope, they rose again. I should have bought it a couple months ago. We're gonna be
literally
talking
a couple months ago.
Yes.
Like a couple months can make all the difference.
It
which
really
is crazy.
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then should we talk buy versus lease? Is that part of the conversation too?
Honestly, it should be part of the conversation. You're a leaser, aren't you?
No, I bought.
What?
Yeah,
I'm
this time
surprised
I
to hear
did.
that.
Yeah, I
Well, that's.
did.
I mean, I've heard that that's actually the economically smarter.
Yeah.
thing
It
to
is,
do.
but then you're stuck with the maintenance.
True.
So you know,
if
it's
you
a
want to,
catch-22.
and if you always like having like the hottest vehicle.
Well, there's
way to
also
go,
the conversation about at the end of your lease, you've invested so much into it, and then you're done.
Yes, and what do you
Right?
have to show for it? You can't sell it.
You can't do anything
Yes.
with it. And we live in Detroit, so our car insurance is going to be massively
Right.
more expensive with
Right.
a lease than just purchasing a car outright or even, financing a car. So
Well, now
tricky.
and now we have more money to fix the roads. Allegedly, we'll see. We'll see where the lawsuit goes. Right?
Exactly.
But
We'll see.
Maybe it'll be a little less wear and tear on our vehicles.
well, let's hope so.
Yeah.
Good
but Then
stuff.
we
It'll be
gotta,
a fun show today.
Yeah.
You've got wine. You've got cars.
but not together.
Not together.
Not together.
Not together. Make it a great Wednesday, everybody.
That was good. I'm glad you pointed that out. I'm glad you pointed that out.
Just got my car insurance renewal, so I do like 6 months at
Yeah.
a time. Every single 6 months, they forget to put my health insurance on there. I got it down to $600. Yeah, they're full of. I mean, it's Allstate. I'm happy, and I'm only doing it because I bundle.
Oh yeah, right. I actually just got new car insurance last week.
Whom?
Farms.
Okay.
It was really good. It was a good price, but I didn't know the answer to if our insurance covers us if we're in an
Answer is
accident.
yes.
It's yes.
Yes. So just
How do I prove that?
You go to Aetna.com,
Okay.
log in, just do a search. They will literally email it to you in 5 minutes.